Aloha and welcome to Grade 4, Module 2, Lesson 9, Solve Multiplication Word Problems. And our key question for today is how can models like tape diagrams help you to represent word problems? So the model of the tape diagram is helping us to understand what the words are telling us. All right, so we're going to check that out today. And let's get started with some vocabulary. And a lot of times you're going to see times as much as. Okay, so if it says 3 times as much as, it means you're multiplying by 3. So let's say I have 10 donuts and you have 3 times as much as my donuts. So you have 10 times 3, which by the way means you have 30 donuts. And 8 times as much means you're multiplying by 8. So if I have 1 donut and you have 8 times as much, then you still have 8 times as much, which is 8 donuts, okay? And we also have the word each quite a bit in these kind of word problems. So if you do 25 push-ups each day, how many do you do in 7 days? So each means that you're going to be multiplying. So 25 times 7, because each day, every single day, you do 25. So 25 times 7. Got that? All right. Let's get into some word problems. Multiplicative comparison. Once again with the big words. Of course, multiplying, right? And comparison means times as much as, right? Because we're comparing how much one person has to how much another person has. Okay? So here's our word problem. Kekai has 3 times as much candy as his friend Luca. Luca has 25 pieces of candy. How many pieces does Kekai have? Okay, so here's where we're going to be getting into using our tape diagrams to understand the question. Luca has 25 pieces of candy. So I just make one little box with Luca's candy. See how I have my nice label here showing that he has 25 pieces, right? But his friend Kekai has, and I'm so sorry, I put 3 times as much in the problem and I drew the problem for 4. So let's change it to 4 times as much. Okay, so Kekai has 4 times as much. So I'm just going to draw 4 boxes because 25 times 4 shows right here 4 times as much. Okay, and if you hear some noise in the background, that's just my dear dog Bailey chewing on a bone. Bailey, you want to come say hi? Sorry, she's too interested in her bone. So the A here is the unknown. A letter can represent a number, and that's telling us that we don't know, just like a question mark, right? But we can use an area model to solve. You can also multiply. There's so many ways you can solve 25 times 4, but I'm just going to show you with an area model. 25, right? Breaking it up by place value, times 4. So that's 4 times 20. 4 times 2 is 8. Bring along the 0. So that's 80. And 5 times 4 is 20. So put that in there. This is the same as 80 plus 20. So Kekai has 100 pieces of candy. A great time to pause me and write this down and take some notes, right? Okay, let's go to our next problems here. Okay, so there's other ways to solve. That was the area model, and this is the same problem, but we're just looking at different ways to solve it. So, of course, we have the area model as one way to solve it, and then we also have repeated addition or place value chart. So let's just check this out. The same problem, Kekai has 25 pieces, Luca has 4 times as much, and A is our unknown or our question, right? Now repeated addition, we can just write 25 plus 25 plus 25 plus 25. And you see how I just made these? Because I know that 2 quarters, 2 25-cent pieces makes 50 cents. So 2 more quarters makes 50 cents. 50 and 50 makes 100. So Kekai has 100 pieces of candy. Maybe that's easier for you, or maybe it's easier on this problem, right? Okay, and then place value chart. Here we have another picture of Kekai, 25 pieces, Luca, 4 times as many, okay? And this might be a good place to mention that our 4 times as many includes the original, right? Some people are like, oh, I need to have more, right? It's just 4 all together, okay? And I wrote it backwards, so I drew a little arrow there. This is Kai, who has more than Luca, right? Teachers make mistakes all the time. Okay, now here's how we could use our place value chart to show 25 times 4. So here I have 5, 5, 5, and 5. Those are my 4 5s from my 25s. And then my 20s, 20, 40, 60, 80. Okay, and then I did it in a different color because when you have 5, 2 5s go together to make 10. So I can move it over here to my next dot and I put it in the 10s place. Bundle it up, right? And here's 2 more 5s which can bundle up to make 10. And then all together I have 20, 40, 60, 80, 90, 100, which all gets bundled up to make 100. Because as we know, Kai has 100 pieces of candy, right? Okay, very good. Let's look at one more problem before we're done with our lesson for the day. Joe reads 25 pages each day. There's our each. How many pages does he read in 7 days? Okay, so here's how many he reads in 1 day, right? But we want to know how much he reads in 7 days. So I'm going to use my tape diagram to show it just so I have a visual of the problem. It really helps me. It might help you to get it from words into a picture. So now I have 7 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Does it have to be perfect? It does not have to be perfect. Okay, but this is my 7 days. And then I want to know how much is that all together. That could be my A or my question mark, my unknown, right? And then you can solve this many different ways. Maybe you're doing repeated addition. Maybe you're like, that's a lot of numbers to add together. Maybe you want to do an area model. Maybe you want to do a place value, right? Whatever works for you. I'm going to try repeated addition because maybe you know, like quarters, right? A quarter is 25 cents. So here's 4 quarters. And that makes $1 or 100. And then I have 3 quarters left, which makes 75. So that's 175 pages. And whenever we have a word problem, we always have to have word answers. So I'm going to say Joe reads 175 pages in 7 days. Okay? And I'm just going to show you an area model real quick to go with that. That would be 25, breaking it up by place value, times 7. Okay? So I'm going to start with my 20 times 7. That's what's going to go in this box right here, right? So 2 times 7 is 14, and I just bring my 0 along. Yep. And then what's going to go in this box is my 5 times 7, which is 35. And then I just need to add those two together. 5, 7, 1. 175 pages. Sometimes it's good to do it 2 ways if you're not exactly sure or confident in your math. You can do it 2 ways and check your work. All right? Thanks for watching. I really appreciate you, and I hope you're having a great day. Aloha.